Celeste, Sonic Mania, and TMNT Shredder's Revenge have been the Portmaster games most requested for me to make install guides for. I can understand this, as these games are great for retro handhelds. Celeste takes a little more effort than the other two to install, but I think I have made the most straightforward guide to follow. Welcome to Virex Techs, my name is Henry, and let's get on with it. Let's start off with Celeste. A quick heads up, due to Steam DRM, this will not work with the Steam version of the game. You must own Celeste on either itch.io or the Epic Game Store. First, we need to install the required runtime for Celeste. Some Portmaster games require runtimes to work. Usually, these runtimes are automatically installed with the game. However, because we are going to be side-loading Celeste and not installing it from the Portmaster app, we will have to manually install the runtime. The good news is that Portmaster has made this easy to do, and I'll go over that process now. Launch Portmaster on your device, go to Options, and then Runtime Manager. For Celeste, you will need to select and install the Mono runtime. You may already have this if you have another game that uses it, but if not, you will need to install that here. You can also download and install all the other runtimes like I'm doing now, if you don't mind the 700 megabytes of space they will take. The benefit of doing this is that you won't have to mess with installing these later if you end up side-loading other games that require these runtimes. Next, you will need to download the zipped file from the video description. You will see there are two versions. The first one works with MuOS and Nuli, and the second one should work for most other devices that support Portmaster. However, I cannot guarantee it'll work for all of them, as I just can't test them all. Something to note here, I have included the fmod.so files in the zip file here to make this process easier. If anyone is curious or worried about the distribution of these files, Brett, the CEO of fmod, responded to my question and confirmed the acceptability of distributing these files. Okay, so with all the preparation taken care of, let's get Celeste installed. Click on the link in the video description for the version you need to download if you haven't already. Then find your Celeste game files. If you own this on itch.io, you will need to download the Linux version of the game and extract those files from the zip file. If you own this on Epic, like I do, you can follow what I do here. I go to My Library, install the game if it's not already installed, click on the three dots, go to Manage, click on the folder icon left of the Uninstall button to take you to the game files. Unzip the file that we initially downloaded from the video description. You can delete the zip file after you have unzipped it. You should then have a folder named Celeste and a celeste.sh file. Now open the Celeste folder and go into Game Data. Copy all of the Celeste game files from the Epic Game installation folder or the itch.io folder you downloaded into the Game Data folder here. Once those files are done moving over, back out until you get back to the Celeste folder and the .sh file. Connect to your SD card, and we will drag over the Celeste folder to the ports folder. When that is done, on the SD card, we need to open up the ROMs folder, and then the ports folder that's in the ROMs folder. You should then see other SH files here if you have any other ports installed. Drag the celeste.sh file into this folder. And that is it for the installation part. You can put your SD card back into your device, power it on, go to the port selection, and launch Celeste. It will sit here on a black screen for up to 5 minutes, so let it do its thing. This only happens on the first launch, and it will launch faster after this, usually only taking 10 to 15 seconds at most. Now when you get to the main screen, you may notice some graphical glitching or artifacting. To fix this, go to Options and Graphics Preset, then hit right on the D-pad to change it to low, and you should notice the artifacting is gone right away. You can then change this back to very low, leave it set to low, or even try normal to see if your device can run it without any slowdowns. If you notice any, you can lower this and try it again. Okay, we're done with the Celeste install. If you found this helpful, please leave a like, and if you enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing to the channel. But now we'll get on to the next two games that are pretty easy to install maybe only a few things need mentioning. I'm unaware of any store restrictions for Sonic Mania, but at the time of making this video, it is on sale for 75% off at the Humble Bundle store, so it comes around to $5 US. This sale goes until September 2nd, and when buying it from Humble Bundle, it will send you a Steam key and you'll have to activate it on Steam. Now, we won't be sideloading this game, so we can start the install from the Portmaster app. On your device, launch Portmaster, go to the All Games section and find Sonic Mania, select it and install it. Once this is done installing, we are done with the device part and you can exit out of Portmaster and power off the device. On your computer, locate the Sonic Mania files. If you're on Steam, you can right-click on the game, go to Properties, click on Installed Files on the left, then click on the Browse button, and it should open up a window to your game files. Connect your SD card and navigate to the Ports folder. Find the Sonic Mania folder, then drag the data.rsdk file from the game files to the Sonic Mania folder on the SD card. And that is it. Reconnect your SD card and start the game from the Ports folder. Something to mention here is that when you start the game, you will notice that the aspect ratio is a little bit off. This is just for the main menu and will not affect the gameplay. It's like this because there are some custom optimized settings to make it work with the 480p screen, and the game runs pretty well with the default custom settings. I would recommend against making the same mistake I did by messing around with the resolution and settings. If you do this, you will notice the aspect ratio changes and will no longer take up the full screen. You can see more of the right or left of the screen, but doing this makes the game struggle to run at full speed on the 35XX SP at least. If you do make this mistake, the only way to change this back is to launch Portmaster again, go to Manage Ports, find Sonic Mania, and choose Reinstall. Doing this will set the settings back to the optimized default, and you won't lose any save data, and you also won't have to re-add the file again. Okay, so that covers everything for Sonic Mania. Now for TMNT Shredder's Revenge. I'm pretty sure both the Steam and Epic Store versions of this game work, however, I've only been able to confirm the Epic version as that's the one I own. This is another easy install, however it can take a long time to run the initial launch, so make sure you have at least like 30 minutes of free time before getting started. Again, we will install it from Portmaster, so go ahead and start up Portmaster on your device. Go to the All Games section, find TMNT Shredder's Revenge, select it, and install it. Once it's done, ensure the game is installed on your computer, navigate to the game files, connect to your SD card, go to the Ports folder, and open up the TMNT SR folder, then open the Game Data folder. You should see a content folder here, but we will not open it. Now drag over all of the game files to the Game Data folder on your SD card. Once this is done, you can go ahead and put your SD card back in and start up your device. Launch the game from the Ports folder, and you will be asked if you want to re-encode the intro. Select Yes. And now we wait. It will take roughly 20 to 30 minutes to finish this step, but once it's done, it will boot directly to the game, and from now on when you launch the game, it can take 15 or 20 seconds to launch. Alright, that's it for Shredder's Revenge. As with all of these ports, you will have to use whatever built-in save functionality the game uses to save data. Closing out of games with any built-in quit options is recommended, but you can also use the menu button plus the start button hotkey to close out of a game. Thanks to the Portmaster team and Johnny on Flame for all of their work on making these ports available on these devices. If you have any questions or issues, let me know in the comments, or you can drop by the FireX Tech's Discord to reach me there. As always, thank you for watching.